This morning I was thinking back on one of the first times I was actually scared in my life. And I remember I was in second grade and I had a I want to say his name. I had a student that I had an altercation with that thought I was talking bad about his name, right? So back in second grade, we can kind of understand there's a lot of instigating going on, right? And pretty much the girls in this group and at this lunch table were saying that I could beat up this guy, right? And one thing led to another, and then we got into an arm wrestling match, right, to prove who was stronger. And then I beat him. And then it kind of spiraled out of control there, right? What happened after that was pretty much she ran with the story, pretty much saying that, yeah, you see, he's stronger than you, he can beat you. And then he started getting up in my face saying, "Huh, you say you can beat me? Huh, you say you can beat me?" And then I was like, well, first off, I never said that. I just said that I'm stronger than you, clearly, because we just got into an arm wrestling match. Then again, this is second grade. We didn't really know how to gauge strength that well. And pretty much simultaneously, okay, now this is where I lucked out, because I was a little wimp back in the day, right? This is where I lucked out, because he wanted to fight me, right? And at the same time, when he was getting in my face, over the intercom, a message from the principal office was telling me to come to the office immediately, right? This is over the intercom so everyone can hear it. And I was already about to start tearing up because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get into a fight. And the whole school was pretty much watching, right? And then pretty much when the intercom happened, I kind of like, because I was still scared too, I started to like my eyes started to water up, right? And then when people ask me like, why am I, tearing up? I'm like, because I'm gonna get my behind whooped when I get home from my mom, and I'm scared of that. And then I kind of diffused the situation because everyone started laughing, but I was actually scared of the guy. I was like, I didn't want to fight him. And I remember that feeling actually kind of haunted me. And it wasn't really about the guy. It was about how I had to face the fact that in a fight or flight situation, I would flight. And I did not like that, right? I did not like that at all. And so even though that situation is smoothed over, it's stuck in my psyche for a really, really long time. And I kind of went to my dad about it and told him about it, and he actually kind of laughed. It was pretty funny to him. And he was like, "Don't worry, son. It's okay. You're still young. You're only like, you're only like 9. So it's like you can, you don't have to, be too worried about that. But we can fix that. I'll put you in boxing class, right?" And I remember going into boxing and just complaining all the time, man. Complaining about the training, complaining about the sparring, complaining about everything, right? And it got to a point where I was facing this guy in the gym. I was sparring with him. And I wasn't doing bad, but I wasn't doing good. I was really passive, very defensive, right? And my dad understood my skills. Like I'm naturally a good fighter. And he was like, "I understand. I know you can do better. I know you can do better. What the hell are you doing, boy? Come on now." And and then pretty much I got hit with a left hook. And pretty much it startled me so much. It kind of like kick-started my manliness in a way. Like after I got hit with that left hook and I felt some rage, I got on his ass. I got on his ass and I took charge, bro. And I didn't knock him out, but I knocked him down. And I felt really good about that, right? I felt really good that I'm like, wow, I just overcame my passiveness and actually became aggressive, right? And after that point, all my training matches, my sparrings, and the fights I did, it was almost smooth and natural. And the reason why I think it all started with that almost school fight was because up until that point, I didn't really look at myself as an individual and analyze who I was as a person, what I could do, what I'm capable of, and what I was afraid of. And really, I think I was just afraid of myself. And what I mean by that is that I believe that I was afraid of me not being the same, lovable, De'Aaron anymore. I felt like I would become like this monster. And I didn't never wanted to be that monster because I was already like always the tallest guy in school, the biggest guy in school. So I was always looked at as an obstacle, right? Not as a peer or as someone to get along with until you spoke to me. I'm a very kind person. But it kind of made me self-reflect and realize what I was actually afraid of. And it was myself. It wasn't another man, another person. It was what that person could bring out of me that I knew would kind of like change me forever. But I'm glad that I had my father with me to walk me through boxing and fighting, because if I didn't have him, I believe I would just have been taken over with rage, all the repressed energy I had. But he really targeted it and just made it really constructive and good. And now as an adult, I can look back and really appreciate the years and years I spent training and fighting, because now whenever I have kids, I'll know how to deal with it. I'll know how to go about it. And, physical altercations can be healthy in a way. It can really, I guess, bring to light who you really are. And it's not even like in an exposed way, just making you realize who you are in tense situations. And it's good to get a gauge of that. We never really truly know who we are until we get hit in the face. And that is one thing I didn't believe in. I didn't believe in fighting a lot, right? Because I just thought of it, just like how I was on TV and all that stuff. It was just bad and it wasn't needed. But actually, altercations in general are needed. It's just how you kind of let it develop, right? You have some control over the situation. It'll never get to a point where too much is damaged, with internally and externally. So I love that second grade story, because it was the catalyst to me being a mixed martial artist. And I owe all thanks to him and the peer pressure that I had back then of pretty much like almost like forcing a fight. We're at the end of the day, man, us as humans, bro, we're just like barbarians deep down, man. We just love carnage and violence and just and you know what? It's okay to accept that part of ourselves. It's not too bad. I really appreciate that story, and I wanted to share it with you guys, because a lot of people out there you just got to realize you got to pinpoint what you're afraid of. You got to pinpoint your fears, because if you do that, then you can really start, understanding yourself more. And I mean, just like what David Goggins would say, you gotta just do what you hate. You gotta just suffer through it, because while you're suffering through it, you really will understand who you are, and it's not too good to just ignore who you are. The good, the bad, the scary, the anxious you, all of it, just the true you. And it takes time. It takes diligence. It takes a lot of effort to really understand yourself. But I believe once you do, then there's really nothing you can't do. I love and appreciate that moment in my life, and I love and appreciate what came from it. And I hope with this story, you guys can understand and appreciate yourselves too. And with any altercation you're dealt with in your life, hopefully not a dangerous one, but hopefully something that can be contained, you can understand yourself a bit more. All right, y'all have a good day, man.